Hello, Frank Shines here. We're going to talk about Lean Six Sigma. We're going to keep it simple. Just as an introduction, my name is Frank Shines. I'm a former Air Force officer and have been doing Lean Six Sigma with IBM, Ernst & Young, and companies all around the world for the last 25 years or so. And the approach I take to Lean Six Sigma is the same approach I learned in the military and flying planes and jets is to actually get in the cockpit and do the work. It's not about a bunch of theory and academic research. It's really about practical application of tools that help people and help organizations. So with that quick overview, let's jump right into this. Lean Six Sigma. Think of it this way. Both of these tools, whether it's Lean or Six Sigma, are basically designed to help us take a more practical, proven, scientific method to improving our organizations and helping our people. On the left side, Lean. Lean focuses on what we call process velocity. Think of a process as just anything we do, right? If you go to the store, it means you've got to first of all, maybe put on your shoes, grab your keys, walk out the door, make sure you didn't forget your wallet, get in a car, drive to the store, make a left turn, right turn, whatever, turn around and return, right? So those are steps. Steps are just what we define as a process. How do things happen? In every company, the basic building blocks of the organization, the physics of the organization, are the process steps. So if we can improve the speed of our processes, we automatically will reduce the cycle time and the throughput. In other words, if you're driving to the store and you need to drive back and forth many times, if the amount of time it takes, the cycle time to get there and back, then that means you can do more trips, more throughput. Process efficiency. Process efficiency is just how efficient that process is. In other words, did you have to take an extra turn? Did you have to wait for lights? All those types of things. Is there complexity because there's some sort of construction taking place on the highway? Maybe there aren't the proper road signs and you get lost, so you don't have visual controls. That leads to delays. So what we think about from a lean perspective is how do we improve velocity of our process, and how do we remove waste and complexity and improve visual aids so our process becomes very efficient and everyone knows how to do the work. When you do that, then the cost of your process is less, the quality is often higher, the flexibility of your process to respond to the marketplace is often much better. That's the left side, Lean. The second, or the right side of this, is Six Sigma. Six Sigma is essentially how we break down the method for doing the science around the problem, okay? So the first thing we want to understand is, what are we trying to do? In other words, what's the voice of the customer? Does the customer want us to provide them some sort of cupcakes, in which case we know that they have to be tasty, they probably can't have too many calories, perhaps. They have to be delivered on time, they have to be nice and soft and moist. The voice of the customer defines what is it that we're trying to achieve in terms of quality. So if in fact we're making cupcakes for a customer, then there are a lot of things we could measure about that cupcake: how big it is, how wide it is, how large or thick it is, a number of different ingredients that go into the production or the baking of that cupcake. But really, there are only usually less than a half a dozen items that are most important for someone to make a decision from a customer's viewpoint about the quality, right? It's probably how good do they taste, what is the cost, and how quickly can I get them, right? To keep it simple. So quality, cost, and timeliness. Those may be the critical things that determine whether or not this customer is going to buy. Then process variation means that if they bought those cupcakes, their expectation is that the next time they buy them, they'll taste the same, given the fact that the first time they bought them because they were nice and delicious and moist and warm. And then the next time, if they're crusty and dried out and cold, then that means you have process variation, and process variation kills quality if we're not careful. Data-driven process management. Now what we're doing is saying, given the fact that we have critical quality metrics, how are we going to use data to measure it so we can make sure that if things get a little too cold or too hot, or perhaps the price goes too high because we're purchasing materials, ingredients that are too expensive, then we've got data to remind us that we have a potential problem that's going to create an issue for the customer and they're not going to like our cupcakes. So data is what we use, not just gut feel and intuition. Data regarding how long it takes to bake the ingredients, exactly what's the recipe in terms of how many ingredients go into that product, the cupcakes and so forth. And then the approach that we use to manage all this is what's known as DMAIC. We define the problem or the opportunity from the voice of the customer, defining it in terms of we want nice, great cupcakes. We measure it. How do we measure it? Using critical to quality metrics. We're going to look at the price. We're going to look at the quality. We're going to look at the timely delivery of that particular cupcake. We're going to analyze anytime we have a problem, and then we're going to improve it, and then we're going to control the process so we don't make the same mistake over again, right? Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. So that, at a high level, is what we mean about Lean and Six Sigma. Think of Lean as quick, simple things we can do with everyone in the workforce. Six Sigma may require more analysis, more data, people who understand data, are comfortable with data. But both of these tools can be taught. They just need to be simplified for people to use those. Lean, Six Sigma. Now, that's the quick overview of what is the difference between Lean and Six Sigma. We combine these two together to get the best results. So that's one of the things that we always want to think about is how do we combine these tools to get the best results in our organization. And finally, for today, we're just going to share with you a timeline. And this timeline helps to understand exactly what's happened over history. So Lean Six Sigma has been around for a long time. It dates all the way back to this, the thing called the bell-shaped curve or the normal curve, all the way through assembly, Ford mass production, and the assembly line, and Frederick Taylor, and the first, World War II, and how we took the ideas and combined those in order to ultimately succeed in creating mass-produced weaponry that allowed us to win the war, World War II. We then took those ideas and shared them with Japan and Europe and other locations around the world. And Japan came up with the concept of Lean. Dr. Harry and Motorola and Bill Smith and Motorola in the 80s came up with the idea of Six Sigma, and they've since been combined to create Lean Six Sigma. The future of this Lean Six Sigma as we move into 2018 and beyond is it's now being not just Lean being combined with Six Sigma, but it's being combined with digital transformation, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, these types of things, which we'll talk about in the future. So there we are, a quick overview of Lean Six Sigma. Again, this is Frank Shines. We'll drill down into the details of these slides in the coming sessions. Thank you.